Hi, I'm Frankie.
And I'm pregnant as hell. In Cheyenne.
And we are
Conbini Cult.
Welcome to another episode.
Thanks for being here. How are you today, Frankie?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited for today's topic. There's some interesting stories that we're going to share about work. Stuff.
Yeah. We both asked on Instagram and stuff. I only got one submission, but it was very, very good. So I'm excited to share it. And you got some good submissions as well.
Yeah, I only got a couple replies this time. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like, the story didn't get shown to as many people as usual. I don't know. But this is a topic we can cover in several parts. There's always new work stories cropping up. But we had also asked about dating stories too, and unfortunately didn't really get
Not this
much.
time around. Yeah, I'm a little surprised too. I mean, I don't have as many followers as Frankie, so I never expect anything to come through, really. I got a couple, but I was hoping we get a little more. So we might save that one for another time.
Future.
Yeah, when we get more submissions and maybe find more stories on Reddit. I guess maybe not that much has happened since last year. The first time we recorded it in this room, actually.
Yeah, we did get some good stories last time. So
yeah, it was a fun topic. That was kind of one of our more viewed ones too, at least on YouTube, right? It kind of did pretty well numbers wise.
Yeah, we've covered dating stories a couple times before this, so yeah. But somebody did reply with kind of dating advice or want to explain about something that could happen on dates.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I got one. It wasn't a personal story on them, but some, I guess there's new terminology being used out there on the dating apps like Tinder and stuff. So I can go over that for word of the day, or at some point we can cover it. But yeah.
Okay.
Wait, this episode is not about dating. I just
this episode is about work.
I'm sorry. My brain is melting.
Yeah, but some of the stories might have to do with office romance. I don't remember.
That's true. Yeah.
Actually, one of them does. So maybe it's kind of somewhat related.
Somewhat related, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a watcher, or if you've just been listening for the past few episodes now, you'll probably hear me talk about one and only thing, which is being pregnant, and that mom brain thing, or pregnancy brain, or whatever they call it. It's so real. I kind of just blacked out earlier when I was talking about dating stuff. But if you're watching this on video format too, the tummy is out. Oops.
I kicked something, sorry.
It's okay. We just ate food. Duh. We just ate lunch. Sorry. We just ate lunch and now I'm about to pass out. So belly is out because I couldn't constrict it in my shirt anymore. But that's
okay.
it. Okay. Should we get into it?
Yeah, so the dating advice that someone shared was, this isn't as much of a story as it is something that happens sometimes to guys when asking Japanese girls on dates and what to do. Sometimes when a guy asks a Japanese girl out on what they think is a date, she'll bring a friend along. Some guys are surprised and maybe upset and frustrated, but she's just bringing a safety net. In my personal opinion, this is a good thing. First, it's easier to have fun with two friends. They're friends, so they're going to have fun, and you just have to join in on their fun. This takes a lot of pressure off you to make the date fun. Take a shot every time he says fun. Just kidding. It also makes things really easy to understand. If the friend suddenly has to leave, you did a good job. If the friend stays the whole night, I doubt there will be a second date.
I've never thought about that, but ooh, okay.
I didn't know.
I say good to know, I'm going to go on a date, but I didn't know people did that either. I mean, my for me, or what's really common among women, American women at least, is you'll let your girlfriends know, right? I'm about to go on a date and we're going to this place. So if I don't respond by 10 p.m., I'm probably murdered in a field somewhere. So please keep an eye on me. My location is on. That is the safety precaution we take, which sounds very extreme, but unfortunately, sometimes you have to. Yeah. And so I do
better
like
safe
the idea.
than sorry.
Yeah, I do like the idea of bringing a buddy along. So that's kind of cool. I've never heard that before. Yeah. Or witnessed it. Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I think it's a good idea. Let's do that more.
Yes. Normalize bringing a friend on the first date.
Okay. What was do you want to say the word?
Oh, yeah. So when I asked about kind of dating stories, it wasn't a story in particular, but just a new word I learned. It's called fukenzen tomodachi, or fukenzen no or na tomodachi, which basically, I had to look it up because I'm not familiar with Tinder terminology here, but it's a kind of a friends with benefits situation. So I guess the OG, the original word for friends with benefits, for anyone wondering, is sefure. You can assume which two words are put together to make that one.
Something in friend.
Yeah. So I guess the youngins these days aren't saying that anymore. But if you ever see that word, I guess it means kind of like, just being
no
like...
strings attached.
No strings attached. Like, fukenzen, to my understanding, is kind of like unhealthy, like, so like unhealthy friends, meaning like maybe, you know how sefure kind of implies like you still talk and you still kind of hang out with benefits. Maybe this one is like I don't know. It's like a different strictly nuance business. Of like you just message like, like meet up at this time or something, and then that's it. I searched like kyabakura. Kind of, maybe that's like a better way to put it, but like I searched like what it means, and if you're familiar with like chiebukuro, it's like Yahoo Answers or Quora basically of Japan. And someone was like, what does this mean? And one of the comments just said like yarimoku, which also sounds like a FWB situation. And they also said like asobi, like just playing around, just for that, and no strings attached, no love. So if you ever hear that word or see that word, I guess that's what it means. Wouldn't know, but that's all I had.
Yep, that's all we got. But speaking of business,
yes,
getting down to business, professional business. Let's talk about work stories.
Okay.
So yeah, as usual, we can share some personal ones first.
Yep, you want to go first?
Sorry, I thought I was gonna cough or something.
No, I had the afterward burps.
Oh,
kind of that heartburn.
So we've talked a lot about English teaching stories and stuff, but I've mentioned before, but the movie extra stuff that I did. So I had joined a modeling company in Osaka, and not like a runway or magazine type model, just for things that they would need ordinary people for, like I don't know, random commercial or an extra than something.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah, I've been a movie extra 3 times. So one was in a movie called Confidence Man JP. It's about a bunch of con artists.
Wait, can I ask why JP? Is there a Confidence Man like in another country and this is the Japanese version?
I don't know. Okay. I think it's supposed to be the sequel. The first one is Confidence Man, and then there's Confidence Man JP. I don't know why couldn't they call it 2?
Yeah.
The other was I mentioned that one in our scammer.
Oh, yes,
episode.
yes. And you can see Frankie in the trailer.
Yeah, I can link the trailer here, too. The other movie was called Lupin no Musume. That is about, I think it was a manga.
Okay.
And maybe
Lupin sounds familiar. Is he the dude that has like really long sideburns, like in the anime and manga?
I don't know, but I think it's about a family of thieves, and the daughter marries, like she falls in love with a police officer.
Oh, would not know. Any anime, manga, movie fans out there, let us know. Cool. Yep. Okay.
And then there was a live action that they made of a Ghibli movie called Whisper of the Heart. So Mimi o Sumaseba in Japanese. So yeah, I was an extra in all 3 of those.
Yeah.
So I did see Whisper of the Heart in theaters when it came out, because I wanted to see if
yourself,
you could see me in the movie.
Of course.
So I went with my friend Rosa, and it was just so funny because the movie theaters here are pretty silent as it is.
Even for comedy movies, they're just quiet. Yeah.
This movie is not a comedy, but it was just so quiet in there, and we were trying not to crack up just looking at me. And there was another guy that we know who was also an extra in this movie. So we're like, oh gosh, there he is. There I am.
Sometimes extras have like dialogue. Did you have any lines in this movie, or you're just kind of like laughing at just seeing yourself even?
Yeah, just seeing myself, because there was one scene in Whisper of the Heart where the guy is sitting in some kind of courtyard, and then he starts playing the cello, and then people who are just passing by are like, oh, what's this beautiful music?
Oh, I see.
So I got to play like a nosy housewife.
Like what's happening?
What's this?
I see.
And then everybody, like more musicians come along, and then they start playing this nice song, and all the people watching are like clapping and waving their arms and stuff. So it's just like
we love a choosy moment. Yeah. Okay. I have a question about this movie then, because I've seen the Ghibli version, right? And if I remember correctly, like they're in high school. You have not? Oh, no. Well, okay. Maybe we can't answer the question. Okay. But if you're familiar with the movie, like the 2 main characters, they're in high school and they're like making a song together. This is the Ghibli movie that's like really famous for the Country Road song here in Japan.
Yeah,
like,
I know the music. Yeah, but I'm sorry to say I haven't seen that one.
Okay, never mind. Because
I should watch it. I know.
based on the trailer, they look like adults. So is this kind of like a loosely, like, did they just up their age because, you know, the actors clearly aren't in high school? Like,
I guess it's like the aftermath because they are adults and he goes to study in music in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was like, again, if I remember correctly, I think his dream when he was in high school, like it was kind of about like pursuing your dreams and like making music and stuff. So makes sense if it was like a flash forward of that. And they like, I assume reunited as adults or something.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll watch it then. Yeah.
Yeah, and look out for me.
I am gonna watch you. Yeah, because you posted the YouTube, so I was like trying to like look for her in the trailer, and I was like, "Where's Frankie?" Like pausing it every second, you know.
I'm not in the trailer.
Of that
one.
Okay,
but you can see me in the movie.
Okay.
But the reason, so why was I an extra in Japanese movies? It's because there are some scenes when they're supposed to be in Europe,
right?
So they needed obviously foreign-looking people.
Okay. There goes my chances of being an extra in that kind of movie, I guess.
Yeah, it depends on the movie. Yeah. But for these particular ones, they wanted, Western or, non-Asian foreigners, people who didn't look Japanese. But for one of the movies, so we filmed them all in the same place. There's basically a theme park in Wakayama called Port Europe.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know if this was a COVID thing because it was 2021, 2022, maybe. I don't know if it's because they couldn't go to Europe or if this is a normal thing that they do, but they filmed all of these in Wakayama. Scenes.
You said it's an amusement park. It's not like a movie set. Like, you know how Kyoto has like Eiga no Mura or something? Yeah. It's like filled with movie sets and stuff. No, this is like an amusement park.
No, anyone can go there.
Oh, okay.
But they closed it, of course, for the filming days.
Yeah. But you can. It's still open. Like you can. Oh, I'll check it out. I kind of want to go. I'm curious. Like,
they don't really have a lot of rides. I think there's a small part with rides, but the vibes make you feel like you're in Europe.
That's funny. I mean, that is very common with like all kinds of movies, right? Especially like, you know, Hawaii is a big one that is used for all movies. Like, and any kind of like jungle-y scene, they're like Hawaii, you know, so like Jumanji, Hunger Games, Jurassic Park, that's all. Lost, like all over there. So I get it, like why, you know, if they can save money and like film locally and stuff, like it makes sense. But it's like interesting how a place like a very European looking place exists like here in Japan, and it's called Port Europe.
Yeah. Also in Mie Prefecture, there's a place called, I think, Spanish Village.
Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't been to that one, but
I guess we gotta go.
So in one of the movies, I remember at the end credits, it said something like, "This was really filmed in Malta." No, it wasn't.
Lies.
You guys lied.
Lies. And you're like, sure, maybe they went at some point to film something, some specific landmark.
Yeah. Maybe they did film one scene in Malta. I don't know.
Definitely not all. Like not how all the credits said. Yeah. Liars. Ooh. Yeah. Allegedly. I don't know. Don't come for us.
I didn't say which movie it was. Yeah. So.
That's funny.
Don't come for me.
Okay.
Don't sue me. But I was also in a Samsonite commercial, you know, the suitcase company.
Yeah, that's fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was back when I was living in Tokyo, when I had just moved to Japan.
Yeah.
So I have a Japanese friend who I met in New York, actually, at a language exchange group, but she works in production. And then she just asked me one day, she's like, "Hey, we need more people for this commercial. You want to do it?"
Fun.
Yeah. Okay, sure. So I had, for this job, the people were kind of separated into who was represented by an agency and who was just kind of there because they knew someone. So I had one particular scene that I was supposed to be in, but they kind of kept me and a few other people just to be extras in other scenes. And in one of those other scenes, I don't know if you know Vivi from Terrace House.
I've never seen her season, but I've like heard of her, so I had to like look her up just to be sure. Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, this was before she was on Terrace House.
Okay.
But yeah, she was also on this job, but she of course has an agency and everything. She's like a pretty well-known model.
Yeah. I've seen her in the yellow hat commercials, which is like Tiger. And I only know that because my husband was like, "That's Vivi," and I'm like, I don't know, but who that is, but okay. Yeah. Where is she from originally?
I think she is Russian.
Oh, okay.
I think she's Russian.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a chance to talk to her or anything, but I was like, wow, this lady seems really legit. And I was also impressed by how well she spoke Japanese. So I was like, wow, I hope I can be that fluent someday.
Yeah. What season of Terrace House was she in? Like,
that was Hannah's season.
Oh, okay. So the most recent and before that show got canceled. Okay. Then that explains why I didn't know her at first, because I've never watched that season. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So did that remind you of something?
Yes. So, like Frankie said, we're going to mention, some personal work stories before we get into others.
Yep.
I've never done like modeling or extra works, like movie extra work. So I don't have any like cool stories like that. All of my stories just come from like, working in a school and stuff when I was like doing ALT English teaching work. But kind of to backtrack a little bit. So Frankie talked about like working with Vivi and I was like, sounds familiar. Who is this girl? So I just did like a random Google search on Vivi and I came across this interesting Reddit post that kind of like, talks about not Vivi specifically, like in a negative way, but I thought it was interesting because it's kind of like an important like commentary, I guess, that comes up a lot in Japan among at least the foreign community. And I promise it's related to some of my work stories. So that's why I just wanted to bring it up a little bit, kind of as like a nice transition. But this was posted 5 years ago in r/terrace house. The title, unfortunately, is Vivi is the embodiment of some Western people's inflated egos living in Asia. And if you live in Asia, like you probably can get a picture of what that means. So would you like to read the post?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, all. I just wanted to get your perspective on this. As a half Asian, I often get treated differently in Japan, with some people idolizing me or thinking that I'm some mega attractive person when in reality, I'm not really that special if you get what I mean. I'm no Angelina Jolie, LMAO. I feel like feminism in Japan is really far behind, and you can see it in the way some young people carry themselves in Japanese society. With Vivi, I feel like she's, again, nothing special, and she wouldn't be a fashion model in Europe or wouldn't be as successful as she is in Japan. I think her acting wild on screen just shows how she already fully knows that Japanese women won't act in the manner that she does, and also exploits the legacies of Western beauty standards being forced in Japan, which is why she knows that she is, quote, attractive and can act the way she acts. Thoughts?
Okay, so I wanted to bring this up not because I agree and I don't feel like, yeah, as a non-white woman, that's so true. Like this does happen, but I bring this up because I found the top comment to be kind of important and interesting. Yes.
Can I say something before the top
Of course,
comment, though?
Please, yeah.
So I don't personally know her.
Yeah.
I can't vouch for whether she's a good or bad person.
I'm
I
not
have
speaking
no idea.
on behalf of Vivi at all as a person. But yeah.
But I also think that anybody who is on a reality show in particular, they have no control over the way that they're edited.
Yeah.
So
of
maybe
course.
the producers wanted to play up, because I'm not sure if she was the first ever non-Japanese person on Terrace House. She might have been, because there are a lot of people who are half.
Well, if you don't count the Hawaii season, because everyone in the Hawaii season, for the most part, was either half or not Japanese at all. Like Lauren Tsai is not Japanese to my
that's true.
understanding. Yeah.
That's true. But
maybe the first European,
white blonde lady.
Sorry. White woman on there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the producers probably wanted to play that up as much as possible for entertainment.
Yeah.
So maybe if you think she acted a certain way on the show, like maybe that is just how it was edited. I don't know.
No, exactly.
I don't know her.
And it's good you brought that up because that is exactly like what the first comment is like getting into, which is why I wanted to bring that up. Also,
well then,
just for this post saying like, she's nothing special and she wouldn't be a fashion model in Europe or whatever. I disagree. Vivi is beautiful.
Yeah.
I
don't know her height. Maybe she's not tall enough to model in other places.
I don't know, but I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, she is very beautiful.
Of course. Okay, so anyway, the comment I wanted to bring to light was, it says, I think my issue with Vivi isn't the fact that she acts entitled, but rather the panelists cutting her a lot of excuses to act entitled. That's what I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Because I agree with that.
Okay.
If you exchange Vivi and Emika's personalities, the panelists wouldn't have been so critical of Vivi either, so it comes across as hypocritical. I do agree that there's a certain level of self-flattery involved with people that are perceived as almost racially superior in a country that they would be a minority in. As for whether or not Vivi falls into that category, she just strikes me as someone that knows how to market herself in Japan. Agree.
Fair.
Yeah. Take Pepe, for example. I absolutely love him, but I was taken aback when he mentioned being a model because he struck me as a fairly average-looking white guy, albeit with a very charming smile. Though since, do we say Caucasians anymore? Can I just say white people?
Yeah, I think Caucasian is technically false.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm going to sub that word.
Okay.
Since white people are a
Yeah.
minority in Japan, I'm sure their appearances will be somewhat elevated due to the uniqueness of it. This isn't bashing Pepe at all. He's still my favorite Terrace House member in this season. However, it's undeniable that Japanese people will be more forgiving towards what they consider to be Western idiosyncrasies, i.e. being more flirty, blunt, even hurtful, or making social blunders like walking in with their shoes on.
Yeah.
On the other hand, towards cultures that they don't look highly upon, i.e. any other race aside from white people or Europeans, there is a somewhat awkward kind of sympathy involved there. Like, yes, I forgive you for not knowing this Japanese cultural thing, but I will let you know I am uncomfortable with this, instead of the, how funny, how cute, it's okay, typically extended to only white people. I had an Indonesian friend that lived in Japan for her whole life, and there will be occasions where she's treated like with an awkward reaction, like, well, you committed a social error, and that's not cute. So they're not saying that all white people don't struggle with the awkwardness of how they're treated in Japan, being elevated as they are. I'm sure there's difficulties that comes with being regarded in awe or being given a pass when all you want to do is to belong and for things to be normal. So again, I didn't bring this up to like completely dog on Vivi. It was more just like I wanted to bring up that conversation of like, yes, it does happen. As two podcast hosts where one is white and one is not, Asian, we have similar experiences as foreigners here in Japan, but a lot of those experiences can differ because of the way we look on the outside. So that's all I wanted to bring up. Yeah.
Okay.
But I brought that up because, like I said, it was related to my personal work stories.
Okay.
Yeah, not as a movie extra, just as some like tape recorder clown working in a school.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the things that like I will never forget is when I was like still living in Hawaii, I had like blonde hair. Like obviously that's not my natural hair color if you watch this podcast, but it was blonde. It was like bleached and stuff. It was very long. And I was super tan at the time because like surprise, surprise, I'm from Hawaii. And so when I came to work in this school, like a lot of the initial comments I got from coworkers and students was like, wow, like sasuga, super American, like American Yankee. Like I can't believe like you have blonde hair, like, and those comments were about my hair were just made to me. Whereas I had a coworker, a co-ALT with me, also from the US, who was not Asian. She was a white woman, but her hair was dyed red. And this isn't her fault or anything. We both just had dyed hair.
Like ginger red?
No,
or
like fire truck.
Oh.
Like, well, no, that's an exaggeration. Not fire engine red, but like cherry red. Like not like natural ginger, but like
not a
red.
natural hair color.
Yeah. And so did she receive any comments about her hair color? No. And if you're like, who cares? It's just hair. If you work in like public school or like in any kind of office setting or a school here in Japan, they are very strict about hair color, piercings, painting your nails. Of course, it mostly applies to the Japanese teachers and to the students, but like, to carry a certain level of professionalism, like you as the foreign teacher should try to follow that as much as possible too.
Yeah.
It depends on your school, of course. So they really just held us to like different standards, I guess. And like I just received a lot of these like very, like passive comments of like, oh, like Ina, like wish I could dye my hair. Wow, America's so chill. And then I went there in the summer. I got tired of hearing those comments, one. But two, it was summer, it was hot. And I was like, you know what? Like, it's hard to maintain bleach blonde hair in Japan anyway. So I went to the hair salon. I cut my hair and like I got a bob, basically. Like I cut my hair to my shoulders and I dyed it as close to my natural color as possible, which is like dark brown black. So I looked more, for my race, if that's what you want to call it, like very more Asian. And that first day I went back to school after doing that, the way like the attitude switch up was like kind of crazy. They were like, oh my God, you look so much better. Like, kawaiku natta ne? Like, you got cute. Like, wow, see, this is good. It was like very clear they had like an expectation of me. And once I like changed it, they really, changed how they made any comment about my appearance. So like, that was kind of just like, ew, okay. One of my first experiences, just seeing how different, foreigners with different backgrounds are treated against each other too, by Japanese people.
Yes.
Another like, not crazy, but just like like work experience I had was it was my day off. It was kind of like one of my first days getting adjusted to my new town. And so I was, the plan for the day was to be taken around the town with my supervisor. So kind of like a work colleague to go get things done, like get me a phone and like go to the bank, get me set up with a bank account and whatever. Again, my day off, I just came to Japan. I had a nose piercing, like a stud, like not a hoop or anything, just a stud. And I forgot to take it out because I think at the time I was still like, I'll just wear it at night and then like take it out for work or whatever, trying to be professional about it. Forgot to do that, but it was also my day off. So it's not like I was like thinking to do that. We do the whole day together. And then like the last part of that day was to go like give a greeting to my board of education just to say like, hi, I'm Cheyenne, you know? And I did that. And then I got pulled to the back after that and was lectured for 45 minutes about my nose piercing. Yeah. And they were like, this is Japan. We like, you know, we have a certain standard for how you look. And I know in your resume or like, because the job I was doing, you had to like, you didn't have to. I was like dumb about this, but they ask if you have tattoos. I was just honest and I said I did. But I was covering them there. I was like totally covered. But they were like, and we know like based on your profile, like you do have tattoos and this is Japan. And so like you're not supposed to show your tattoos here. They just gave me like that really long lecture. They could have just said like, hey, you have your nose piercing in. Please don't do that next time. Like, I don't know, like don't wear it at school or whatever. I didn't go to school that day, by the way. Again, keyword, day off.
Maybe they thought that you just got it pierced or something because they'd never seen it. I don't know.
I don't know. I personally can't remember if I like wore it from the airport and like when they first picked me up. I don't know if it was their first time seeing it or whatever. But again, 45 minutes, like that is way too long to just tell someone to like take it out, you know? And so that was like, again, it's like my second day in this town, like second day on the job. And another like common work experience I had, again, working in a public school here in Japan was, you know, if you work in a school, you're not like really caring that much about your appearance, you know, like especially if you're a teacher, depending on the season, right? But like usually I would wear like slacks and like a polo shirt or a professional blouse or whatever. But sometimes it gets hot or sometimes you want to switch it up. And I would wear like a skirt once in a while or a dress or maybe put on some mascara because I was like feeling cute that day. And like every time I wore like girlier clothes than usual, it always got followed by like, oh, did you get a boyfriend? Like, oh, she must be dating someone or she must get a man because like she's like dressing cuter and like putting more effort into her appearance these days. And so that is just something that like, like I don't think it happens at every Japanese workplace, of course, but like don't be surprised if like you switch up your style and people are like, what happened? You know? So those are kind of like my three main experiences and takeaways that I could think of that were noteworthy. But don't miss that. Miss the job. I miss like the people. They were really cool and stuff. But just the little things. I think a lot of it came with like working in the countryside and not having a lot of like experience with different foreigners and I don't know, different customs and stuff. Yeah. All right.
All right. So we did get a few responses from Instagram. And then also, actually, for the last work episode that we did, there was a story from one of my friends who has done work cleaning hotels. And I forgot to include it last time.
Oh, sorry.
So I've been saving it until now.
For like a year then?
Yeah.
Okay.
She basically just said like all the nasty stuff that she's found cleaning the rooms from both foreign and Japanese guests.
Well, at least there's balance in that regard, I guess.
Yeah. No one is innocent here.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically there was a group of moms who were having like a mom like
a little mamakai.
A little mom party. But they all dumped the cup noodles in the sink. And they clogged the sink with the...
with the noodles?
Yeah, with the noodles and the really thick broth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, nasty. And your friend had to clean that up?
Yep. Yeah. And then also she found somebody put like a used pad like on the back of a shelf or something.
What? On the shelf?
There's trash cans everywhere. Why are you doing that?
Oh, that's kind of nasty. Why? Okay.
Yeah. So just that kind of gross stuff you might find cleaning hotels anywhere. But.
That is like a work horror story.
Yeah. That would be... Ooh.
Yeah.
That would stink.
Yeah, poor thing. Yeah. And she's not doing that job anymore, right? So obviously she's okay. She's safe from the terror now. But I'm kind of curious. Yeah, like I don't know if this would be like a work part 3 or you guys can just comment and stuff too. But like if you've worked in I guess these kind of like cleaning service jobs, what is the gnarliest thing you found like in the hotel or in the space? I'm kind of curious to know now. Because like I'm sure there's some wild stuff out there and the things you never would expect have probably been dumped somewhere. Cup noodles. Gnarly. Pads.
Bloody pad.
Gnarly. Okay.
So should we get into some of the Instagram
Yes.
responses? Just a few.
Okay.
Right.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I have one that's really short to start. They said, got to Japan, was promised a work visa, and they lied. They hadn't even started the process.
What?
So I messaged them to get more information.
How did they get in?
I don't know, because due to their privacy settings, I couldn't send them a message.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we'll never know.
If you're listening or watching, how'd you get in? Because like usually, I mean, I assume they could get in eventually if you just come in on like a tourist visa. But like if you're trying to come for work, like the certificate of eligibility and stuff, like usually all of that stuff, like you cannot enter. Yeah, it should be done before you come in, which means like you cannot enter Japan if you don't have that and like don't have a residence card and all of that. So curious.
Well, it said they had already got here. So, yeah, I'm wondering if the company then did help them get a visa or if they just had to find another job or if they just left.
Yeah. Answer your DMs or
hey, change your privacy settings. We need to know.
Yeah. Okay. Oof.
All right. What did you get?
Oh, yes. I got a good one. Sorry. I had to bring it up. Okay. So this one is pretty intense. Let me find the message. Okay, so I also sent a poll on Instagram just saying like, hey, if you have any crazy work stories, like let me know. And this was like actually someone that worked in the town over to me. So I'm familiar with like the area they're talking about in Chiba. And we were on the same program and stuff. And so the original, like, because you know how on Instagram you have just that submission box? Like it's very short.
Yeah.
So they said, getting picked up from work to apologize to the police for recycling wrong. And I was like, hey, yo, you gotta elaborate. I was like, you gotta elaborate because I'm like, you had my my attention and I am my curiosity or whatever that is. So I was like, okay, give me the deets. And they were like, yeah, it was crazy. So the BOE, Board of Education, supervisor, called the school and the deputy principal was like, oh, he's coming to pick you up because you didn't recycle properly. So this person works at a school, by the way. And I was like, oh, okay, no big deal. He's going to show me how to do it. But then he drives me back to my rental to apologize to my landlord. And then my landlord said that the police had called and came to say that someone had reported me for recycling incorrectly and that I should go and apologize to them.
What did they do?
I don't know. And then they said it was so awkward going in there, not really knowing the best way to apologize. Like just saying like, 本当にすみませんでした. I'm so sorry. And like bowing my head as much as I could. OMG. Then the worst part was coming back to work and everyone in the office was like, 残念ですよね. Like that's too bad. And so like the word just traveled fast, right?
Yeah.
And they were super nice about it, though. Like, they taught me how to wrap up the cardboard boxes with the string later. So I assume, like, maybe they're new to the apartment. Maybe they were unpacking something. They put the cardboard just, like, out. Where, like, especially if you live in the countryside, they really expect you to wrap it up in, like, string and, like, what do you call? Accumulate all the boxes together.
Oh, yeah, break down the boxes, stack them nicely, and then tie it up. Yeah,
so I think that was it. Like, it wasn't anything extreme, like they dumped their trash or all their bottles were all over or whatever. I think it was just, like, that cardboard issue.
Ooh,
but anyway.
That's very intense for a cardboard box.
That's the story. So, like, just the fact that they had to, like, apologizing to the landlord is one thing. Like, okay, that's annoying, but I didn't know. Sure, sorry, you know, but, like, the police, like... On work hours, like they pulled them out of school, drove them to the police and was like, apologize. Like, and it's probably their second or third day, like on the job. Like, you have no idea what's going on. You can't like disagree, right? And so you're just like, like they said, like, sorry, you know, poor thing. And
awkward.
Yeah, it's so awkward. I had no idea, but it's just so frustrating because like, again, like so unnecessary. Like Japan is just so efficient sometimes in so many ways. And then a lot of times it's like so not. Again, work hours, like, like, that was more important than, you know, doing your job that you hired them for. But okay, sure.
Okay.
Anyway, you continue or you go ahead.
Okay. I have one more. It's not super long, but it's not short either. Okay. They said, this was funny. So I love giving compliments. It's one of the reasons I love Japan because no one thinks negative of it. they see I'm just being me. And I'm like, hey, I love that necktie. It's so cool. Or, oh my gosh, your nails match the season. And so this happened like a year ago. A coworker is always enamored by my Japanese ability and asks me stuff, and I compliment her. And she once went on a mini meltdown about being an older unmarried woman, probably 40, I don't know. Then an accident happened and I helped her fix stuff. And she was like, oh no, how can I pay you back? You want to go for dinner? And I'm just dumb. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Because I did use some of my gear to fix her stuff.
Yeah.
Coworkers were nearby and like airlifted her out of the premises. One of them came and apologized, like, sumimasen, she doesn't know you're happily married.
What?
And I was like, oh. And then she came back and she was like, oh, sorry, I have a dentist appointment and I cannot eat dinners ever again.
Sorry, continue.
But we've been out to enkai and everyone has moved on. We still talk and stuff, but that was a funny moment.
Sorry, I have a dentist appointment and I can never eat dinner ever again. It was the word like she used verbatim.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. I'm going to like try to use that to get out of stuff too. Like, oh no, sorry. I have to
I have
like,
a dentist appointment.
I have a dentist appointment so I can never hang out with you ever again.
I have to clip my nails tonight so I can never see you again.
Sorry, I have to feed my hamster so I can never breathe air ever again or something. Like, okay. So the awkward point was like, I guess, well, see, that can be kind of frustrating too, because I understand, you know, the person who submitted point of view, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I like did you a favor, and if you want to treat me to something, like I like that part went over my head too, because I was like, sounds good, and then
maybe that's a cultural difference.
Sure, like
I think they're Canadian.
Okay.
Or American, but I think
so.
Canadian.
Like Western, right? Like in a Western perspective, that's fine. Like to me, whether it is between a man and a woman, like again, depending how it's like presented or asked, like it can be totally fine to be like, "Hey, thanks for like doing this favor for me, whatever."
Yeah,
but
I think that lady was smooth though.
She was real smooth.
But they put her on the what was that show called? Azatoi.
Azatoi.
It's like, oh, how can I pay you back? Let me take you to dinner.
Oh, that's true. I guess, yeah. Well, again, we weren't there in that situation, right? But there's probably a difference, between like,
that's
hey,
how
I pay you back? Like, let me take you to dinner versus like, how can I pay you back? Let me take you to dinner, So I see. Okay, well, at least she can never eat dinner again,
Yeah.
Worked out.
Glad it's not awkward anymore. Everybody can look back and laugh on it now.
Yeah. And it's good, like, I don't know, kind of reassuring in a way that OP also found it innocent at first, like, because they didn't want to make that assumption either, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
okay.
It's like, oh, free dinner, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
down.
yeah. Okay, funny
okay, now we got a few Reddit stories.
Yes.
So the first one, I tried to make them mixed of, nightmarish and also funny.
Okay.
As I usually do,
Well, this one's new.
Yeah.
All right.
1 day ago.
Yeah. Shall I read it?
Yep.
Okay, so the title is Advice on Racist Abuse from a Customer via Telephone. Ooh. I work at a hotel which requires fluent Japanese, and 90% of my work is in Japanese, despite most of our guests being foreign nationals. Today I received a call from a Japanese guest who had reserved with us, and being the only staff member present, I took the call, but was met with racist abuse and shouting about how he wanted to speak to someone who can understand Japanese. I responded as professionally as possible, but did say, if you continue using language like that, I will hang up the call. He did, so I hung up.
Okay.
Then he called again screaming, asking when a Japanese person will be available. I don't know if the calls are recorded. I have a name and phone number of the person. Do I have any legal recourse? Should I call 9110 or go to a police station? If I do, what would happen? If anyone has similar experiences or knows anything that might be of help, I would appreciate it. Edit. First of all, thank you for the great responses already reported to the managers. Calls are not recorded.
Okay.
It sucks.
Come on.
This has happened to me before too. Answering the phone at my current job.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they ask, can I speak to a Japanese person?
Yeah.
It's difficult to communicate with foreigners.
They didn't say it's difficult to communicate with foreigners. This is without giving too many details. It's been a client of ours for a long time. So our management is aware of like this person and just like the way they speak in general. And like because they've been a client for a long time, they know that there are foreign people working in the office as well. But like, every time they call, because I speak Japanese and like at work and stuff too, so I'll like answer the phone and they're just like, I I don't think my accent is like that bad, but like immediately they were like, oh, please
you
switch.
answer the phone. Konnichiwa, senpai.
Yeah, I'm like, konnichiwa, nani yo desho ka? Like, you know, and then so as soon as I've answered the phone a couple times, they're like, oh, Japanese staff, please. And I'm like, hey, if I don't want to deal with you either, I guess, for sure, you know, but yeah, so nothing as like intense as this where they like, you know, you've had to hang up on them because they're just being rude from the start, but like it is a thing that happens, unfortunately. Yes.
Yeah, the comments are basically just saying, you know, if your hotel has a policy for stuff like that, like speak to management, blah blah blah. But
yeah, it's kind of
reporting it to the workplace. Yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah, that calls wouldn't be recorded for this kind of profession,
hotel,
like just
yeah.
hotel. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah,
it's not like a customer service hotline or something. Yeah,
yeah, it really sucks, but it sounds like management was like on your side in this case.
Yeah, that's true.
But
hopefully.
Yeah. I want to read a comment.
Okay.
It has nothing sorry. It has nothing to do with like the solution really. Someone just said, "Wow, that's infuriating, but I'm glad your coworkers were supportive and worked together to teach those sexiest losers for a lesson."
What?
Edit. Sexist. I was so angry I couldn't type correctly. That's it. The sexiest losers.
Okay.
That's it.
Alrighty. Let's move on to the next one.
Sounds good.
So this is from 2 years ago on r/Japan Life. Has anyone here quit an office or work from home job in Japan to be an English teacher?
Ooh.
I work remotely for a soul-sucking company where my voice is never heard, and I'm just sat all on my own all day taking shit from people via email. I'm the type who needs to be around others to be happy, even if they're loud kids. I just feel lonely and want to get out of here, and I used to love teaching back in the UK. Everyone keeps telling me, you don't know how lucky you have it to work from home, and teaching English is the worst. But I envy how these people can be outside talking to others all day and have life around them. Is being an English teacher really that bad? Because I've never got that impression when looking at it from the outside. The only thing which concerns me is the drop in salary because me and my wife are trying for a baby now.
Oof. Okay, yeah, that is a valid concern to have for sure.
Yeah, I would say that is really the only downside. Maybe lack of promotion and lower salary.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, the older I get, the more I realize, like, what are we trying so hard for? Like, what do you live life for? You know, if you really love your job, that just is chill, and like, you know, if you accept like the salary for what it is because you just love what you do, I personally don't see anything wrong with that. And I know like, especially when it comes to Japan and teaching English in Japan, everyone has their like, there's no career advancement, there's like no this, that, or whatever. Like, yeah, in a lot of cases, probably, yeah. But also, like, if you're someone, like you said, who loves, you need to be around people to be happy. You love interacting with people. Like, I say, why not? You know, the only thing that is holding, you know, you back, like you also said too, was the pay. I think you need to kind of just, I know this was 2 years ago, so you probably figured it out already, but, you know, like, just evaluate, like, wife, baby, finances, benefits of your current work from home job versus, like, your own personal satisfaction and, you know, being happy and stuff. But it does suck to have a job where, like you say, is soul-sucking, you know? I don't know. That is a tough one, though, but...
Yeah. I can't see if there's any updates because their account has been deleted since then. But yeah, I just thought it was so interesting because usually you would think it's the opposite. So many people think of a work from home office position as kind of ideal. And they want to get out of teaching English. But this person is the opposite of that.
Grass is always greener on the other side. It's where you water it, right? So
it's not for everybody.
Of course. Oh, yeah, of course.
Especially a very extroverted person. I can see how that would be kind of depressing to be stuck at home.
Oh, like work from home. Yeah, for sure. For
me, it's great.
Like perfect, right? Yeah.
I love that.
I don't mind it too. I mean, I've never had a 100% work from home situation, but I do like it when the chances I've gotten to work from home. The only thing, like, me personally, I can't do is like, my work gets done. Like, don't get me wrong. It's more just like the distraction, or just like, I'm a very routine based person. So I like being in an office or being in a school where it's like, it's this time to do this, this, and this. Yeah. So for me personally, it's more just like, managing a schedule on my own. Like, it's up to you how much work you get done in that day if you work from home full time, right? Yeah. So it's kind of, that can be tricky for me. Yeah. But, yeah. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy now. But okay.
Yeah, I hope they found something good and they're enjoying their work more these days.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one was a little bit silly. It made me laugh when I found it. So could you read this one?
Of course. Okay, so let me open it up. It is post a month ago, fairly recent in r/Japan life.
Yep.
The title is Japanese Oji-san Coworkers Mumbling. Hi everyone. So I've been working at this Japanese company since last year, and my office consists of me, 28 male, my boss, 60 male, and one more coworker, 48 male. These two literally sit in front of their computers and mumble/think out loud all effing day, and it's driving me absolutely insane. Moreover, they expect me to keep up with whatever they're thinking/saying, even though over 50% is literally incomprehensible. I can't even focus on my own tasks because they're literally doing this all damn day. I'm not exaggerating. I've never experienced this before, and I'm about to explode because it's too damn annoying. Does anyone else experience this? I just want to tell them, shut the F up with 408 upvotes.
Yeah. I really liked the top comment.
Yeah.
Please explode, then report back here.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. What is it? Someone was like, this is the real life version of that flip table arcade game. Not familiar with that, but it sounds legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, wait, I know that game. Yeah, someone clarified it's like that at round one. It's like an actual, like,
you literally flip
the table.
The table.
That's funny. Ooh, I wonder if they ever did that to, like, reduce stress after work or something.
I'm sure some people do.
Someone said, took me decades to be able to decipher oyaji mumble, only to realize their entire vocabulary is composed of nothing but pronouns. So I still have no idea. Hora, are dou datta? Are? Soka, maji? Yeah. It's funnier if you work in Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is funny.
Oh, someone put like the Kansai version. Oh, nandaru na. Or
Nande ya ne? Chau wa.
Nande ya ne? Chau wa.
And then someone put like really like hougen, like tohoku.
Oh.
It's like tohoku Miyagi-ken, and they said, I'm gonna butcher it. I've never been there. Dabe. Dacha. Danda. Okay. Sorry, like everyone in Miyagi is like punching the air, like shut up. But
yeah.
Oh, sorry, one more because it's just really funny.
Okay.
It says, why bird fly? Why rainfall? Why oyaji make guttural sounds?
Yeah.
That reminds me of Kevin from The Office. What is that thing he said? Like, if me no use lot word to talk, like something like that. I don't know. I have to like look it up. It's funny though.
Okay. The next one, totally different vibe.
Okay.
It's from r/AMA, Ask Me Anything.
Okay.
I used to work at a Japanese hostess club.
Whoa.
Ask Me Anything. I used to work in a small hostess club, or kyabakura, in Japan for about 6 months, about 10 years ago.
Oof.
So
right.
There's only a few questions in here, so I think we can go through them all.
Sure. Okay. The first question, 5 days ago, said, hey, why do all the hosts and hostesses have so many high brand clothes?
A lot of the time, their clients would buy them as gifts. They'll buy them themselves, too, to show how much money they make or how popular they are in the club as a flex.
Yeah. What's your favorite hostess cake? Mine is Twinkies. What the fuck? Okay.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think I've had Twinkies before, but it was years ago.
I love how they just answered seriously. Okay. Next question is, what happens at clubs like that?
Customers, mostly men, would come to the clubs to have drinks with the girls, aka hostesses, who work there. Each customer would have a girl sit next to you, fix your drinks, light your cigarettes, and talk. The girl's job is to get you to like her and make you want to come back to the club. If you request to have a particular girl to accompany you, she gets a percentage of what you spend there as a commission.
Ooh, kind of following up. Someone's very straight to the point.
Yeah.
Said, no sex in the champagne room, though, correct?
Right.
You asking for yourself or for a friend? Like, okay.
Right. The club provides platonic companionship only, though there are no rules for what happens outside of the club.
Oh.
It's possible for the relationship to lead to sex, whether the girl just wants to or feels like she needs to offer that to keep the client. Either way, it should be the girl's choice.
Yeah, heavy emphasis on either way. It should be the girl's choice. Because I got a little concerned when it said, or if she feels like she needs to offer it.
Yeah.
Like, nah, girl, do you, but your choice. Okay. Oh, I like this one. How did you get into the industry and why did you eventually stop?
Ooh. After finishing high school, I had plans to move to the US for college, so I was trying to save as much money as possible. I had 2 jobs in restaurants, but working minimum wage wasn't getting me anywhere, so I figured why not give it a try. I worked until just a couple of days before my move overseas.
Oh, and then so this next question I also had was it good money?
It was, especially for someone right out of high school. I got $20 per hour plus commissions. At bigger clubs, I think they paid more.
Okay, 6. That explains why you had plans to move anyway, but like for 6 months.
Yeah, it was very temporary.
I'm sure they made the amount of money they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Was the interview process very hard?
Not really. I think they were mainly checking for looks, basic manners, and personality to see if they'll be a good fit for the club.
Very fun. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that they did this right out of high school. So they
Me
were
neither.
like 18.
Which I guess like in Japan. So before, when you were an adult, it's 20, which it like still is, but it changed very recently to 18. This post is from a year ago, which I think that already was into effect. Like, so
But she did it 10 years ago.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe not, but whatever. But 18, that's an adult in many countries. And maybe like there's exceptions, like to work in clubs or to work certain things as long as you're 18 at least.
I'm just wondering though, because from my impression, a lot of this job is drinking with the client. So I wonder how they approach that. Because you can't drink until you're 20 in Japan.
Yeah. And again, not...
Should I get on here and ask her?
Shall we ask? Yeah, ask her anything.
But it's from a year ago. I don't think she's checking.
Yeah, not to like get this OP in trouble. Like truly, we were just curious about that first part. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. What a fun post. I do like that. I haven't like seen, or I guess I don't like personally explore the AMA. Ask me anything.
Yeah, I want to look more
I kind of want to look more into that. That was fun.
Seems like a good subreddit.
Yeah, just to see like all the questions I had at least were answered. So that was fun.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. The next one is kind of, I don't want to say it's funny because the person is like talking about a hard situation. So take it away.
I will take it away. Let me adjust my legs and my tummy really quickly. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
You good?
I'm good. My knees were starting to like buckle like an old person. Okay. Posted in r/Japan Life 3 months ago. Title, Unmatched Immediately. I told her my job. Okay. This is going to be my first ever post on Reddit. However, I have been a silent lurker for many years. I'd first like to mention that I found entire ordeal funny, so I decided to share for y'all's entertainment. 28 male English teacher living in Japan, LOL, obviously. I have been on this dating app, not Tinder, OkCupid, or Bumble, for close to a year without any success. I don't even want to talk about looks and whatnot because I am well aware of the bias towards brown-skinned people. However, I refuse to accept or conform to your society standards of attractive. #resist! I have digressed, but yeah, on 3 occasions now, I got unmatched immediately after revealing my job, LMAO, WTF. Does this mean we English teachers do not deserve love, LMAO? Are these girls searching for passport bros? Why does this keep happening? Edit. None of them were Japanese, and most of them literally ask for your job within a few hours of talking. Haven't gotten into any romantic relationship in about almost half a decade. For personal reasons. Did someone crank the difficulty level to the max?
Okay. There are not so their post didn't get any upvotes, but they had a few comments. So the top comment has 33 upvotes, but it's kind of mean.
It's kind of rude. I don't like that.
Mean.
Yeah.
Is it try to demonstrate other value before revealing you're a minimum wage immigrant? Now, if you have no other prior or other wealth either, then you are shit out of luck if they care about money. But yeah, hopefully you can impress with something else before you show your empty hand. Not a Japan problem.
Rude.
That's so rude. What the heck?
English teacher is not a minimum wage immigrant.
No.
Or you are an immigrant if you like live in Japan and you're not Japanese, you know?
But like, it's not minimum wage.
No, like if anything, even though like a lot of the times the English teaching salary is like on the lower end here, it's still like, depending what like program or company you work for, pretty high compared to like the average first year Japanese salary for companies in a lot of cases. So I don't agree with that one. That one was a little rude.
That was really mean.
Do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yep.
Okay, someone said, in response to that demonstrate other value comment, they replied, an advocate of the dentist system, I see.
Oh. I wouldn't be surprised.
I was just thinking about that episode recently. Maybe I'll rewatch it.
Yeah.
And then someone, again, kind of really not backing down, said ALT is minimum wage worker. A real teacher is not. And again, disagree, because when I was an ALT, even from my first year, I was like, my first year salary was the lowest, obviously, compared to like, you know, your fifth year salary, because in my case, it increased every year. But even my first year salary was still more than like my partner's first year salary at his job at the time. Of course, he makes way more money than me now, but like, it's not a minimum wage worker.
Yeah.
You're making good money, depending, again, on the company and all that stuff.
And where you live and all that.
I wouldn't put it in minimum wage.
Okay. So the only really helpful comment that I'm seeing is English teachers are presumed to be players. They also can be viewed as short timers, so not a great option for someone who wants to be serious. That's the impression I believe. I'm not sure about dating sites, but doing some volunteering and getting out and about is a great way to meet people and make a connection.
Yeah, that's a good point, I guess, is like maybe, you know, the people who are unmatching, they don't even see English teacher and they're like, ew, it's more just like, oh, temporary.
Yeah.
And they're looking for something long term. Like, you know, who knows, right? But
it could be that, yeah.
That was a good point. I never thought about that.
Okay. Anything else you want to read before we move on?
Sorry, I'm kind of like just perusing through the comments now, but it's okay. I'm scrolling and then we're getting into like incel territory a little bit, and I don't want to.
Yeah. They're just gold diggers.
Yeah, these girls are big red flags. They're just looking for foreign dudes with high positions and big salaries. Like,
who said that?
Who said that? Also,
he just said he's an English teacher. He didn't say like he told them his salary, and then they were like, "Ew, you're poor."
Also, like if you're looking for a dude in high position and big salaries, like you can look for Japanese people too. I don't think these girls are like specifically making your own money. Yeah, okay. Anyway, sorry. We don't need to read any more of those comments.
Okay. The last one that I wanted to read, because it does kind of have to do with an office romance.
Okay.
So, do you remember a while ago, there was a story on the Am I the Asshole thread where this person had a very rude husband, and their post was like, am I the asshole for not speaking Japanese after 6 years? And they had demonstrated that they were doing their best to learn the language and get a part-time job, and their husband was like, your Japanese sucks.
Yeah.
You need to study more.
Not fully, but like now that you're bringing
your hobby's stupid, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was just super rude.
Yeah.
And eventually she divorced him.
Yep.
And then she was, I mean, her Japanese was already kind of conversational at that point anyway.
This was a foreign woman dating or married to a Japanese man.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So she divorced him, got an office job, and then had a crush on one of her coworkers.
Okay, yes. Now I do remember this because I was like really rooting for the happy ending. I do remember that now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we talked about that story, they also did it on 2 Hot Takes, but I don't think they read every single update.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
So this update is the latest one, but it's from September 2024.
So 8 months ago.
Yeah. Okay. Do you see that? Scroll all the way down.
Yes. A lot of scrolling.
Yeah, because it's on the best of Redditor update. So
new update post September 11th. That one.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's go back and forth with this one.
Sure. All right. So new update. It has been a few months. The result of a Japanese language proficiency test I took has been announced. I passed the level 2 with only 2 mistakes.
Only 2 mistakes.
Holy shit. Good for you. Sorry. The highest level. The highest is level 1 from 5 level, and I passed the level 2, so I'm proud of myself. Good for you. We love that.
Good job. That's awesome.
Okay.
My crush confessed to me, and we're dating now. He is a Japanese who doesn't speak English at all, and he said my Japanese is perfectly fine. I met his parents and his brothers last month during Obon holiday. He brought me to his hometown in a rural Japanese village. His family welcomed me. They live on a farm. They've never been overseas at all and don't speak English, but they welcome me nicely.
I am a divorcee and 6 years older than my boyfriend, but they don't mind at all. The fact that I am a foreigner also doesn't bother them. Love.
I just got a promotion at work this month, which is quite rare since I've been here for just 10 months, but they said I did my best, so I deserved it.
I plan to move in with my boyfriend next winter.
Ooh. He treats me with nothing but respect. He always seems to be proud of anything I do. He even said my Japanese accent is cute. He never scolds me in public like my ex. Ew.
Yeah.
I told him, why are you so nice? And he said, it's just normal behavior when you care about someone, which made me realize how much of an asshole my ex-husband was.
Yeah. About my ex-husband, he stalked my Instagram and found my post with my boyfriend, and he threatened my boyfriend, but my boyfriend just blocked him.
My ex's cousin, who's really close to me, told me that my ex posted his breakup text with his new girlfriend on Twitter and sent the screenshot to me. I read it and I feel pity.
What?
I read it and I feel pity for whoever the next girl is going to be with him because he'll never change.
I feel healthier, prettier, and definitely happier now than ever.
I don't know what will become of my new relationship, but I learned a lot. I'll never let anyone disrespect me and my effort.
Last but not least, thank you all for the comments you leave to me. It definitely helped me clear my mind.
Cheers for you all.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! For real.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I think like when we read this too, I am pretty sure, I don't doubt, we were like, we need an update. Like, tell us how it is with your new boyfriend and stuff. So, oh, I'm so happy for you. That like N2 flex is crazy to only get 2 mistakes
on the N2.
Yeah, as someone who like I've passed N2, granted years ago, but like you need
50%
for
to pass.
50%, and I got the 50%. So like we are on 2 different playing fields of like passing that test. So
she's
good
playing
for you.
chess. You're
I'm playing
checkers,
I guess. Yeah, I'm playing like fucking Shogo or whatever that game is.
Shogo?
Shogo? No, Go. What is that game? The black and white Pebble game.
Isn't it called Go?
Go, yeah. She's playing chess, I'm playing Go. No.
No,
because I'm also...
No, you're not.
No, I'm not, because I'm also very bad at that game. I used to play that game with one of my 6-year-old students. Got beat every time.
You're playing tic-tac-toe.
I'm playing tic-tac-toe. I'm just playing like... I don't know. TikTok sounds in my head. That's the only thing I'll be playing these days.
No, I'm playing tic-tac-toe. I'm playing...
Tic-tac-toe?
I'm playing nothing because I failed N2, so I have no part of this conversation.
No, it's okay. But I'm good for you. That's all I was trying to say.
I'm playing Jenga, and I'm good at it.
Yeah. You are, Frankie.
Actually.
And you're also really good at Daifugo. What is that card game we played at my baby shower?
Card game.
That
something
Ariana
like
taught
that.
us, yeah.
Ariana, what was it?
Tell us if you're watching. I'm like horrible at any kind of game, like board game and card games and stuff. Have you ever seen those memes where it's like me when someone is explaining like board game rules to me and it's just someone sitting there like not a thought going through their head? That's me.
Yeah.
But anyway, good for you on passing that test. Like so happy for you for meeting someone new. Like you said, you don't know where it's gonna go, but I hope it goes well. And even if it, I mean, not putting this into the universe, but if it doesn't, like you said, you learned a lot and you seem to be really happy now.
Yeah.
So
really confident and not gonna let anybody disrespect you again. So
exactly.
Yes, we love that.
And like, dude, what is it? The ex posting a picture on his Twitter
of him
his
breaking up with someone.
Weirdo behavior. Yeah, like so happy you're out of that. But anyway, good job. Happy for you. Thank you for updating us because we were like waiting for that one for almost.
Yeah, I feel like that update came like right after we recorded that episode.
Oh,
because that wasn't there when we recorded it.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you for finding that one, Frankie.
Okay, so those are all the work stories that we have.
Yes.
For now, we might do some more in the future. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Catch you again soon.
Bye.